If you're a quality professional, you know that having the right tools for the job is everything. So today, we're going to open up the toolbox and take a look at some simple but really powerful process control instruments from the ISO 10009 standard.
I mean, this is the big question, isn't it? You're swimming in data from all your processes, but how do you actually turn all those numbers into smart, decisive action? Well, that's exactly what we're going to tackle.
Okay, so let's pop open this toolbox. Imagine each tool inside is designed for a very specific job, helping you see your data clearly, focus your efforts where they matter most, and really take control of your processes. Let's grab the first set.
First things first, we've got to see what's actually going on. These first few tools are all about taking that raw data and turning it into a clear picture, so you can finally understand the story your process is trying to tell you. So let's say you need to quickly compare the performance of 3 different suppliers. The box plot is a fantastic tool for this. Now, this visual just shows a simple median score, but a real box plot gives you so much more. It shows you the whole range at a glance, the highest value, the lowest, the middle, and how spread out everything is. It's perfect for seeing not just the average, but the consistency.
The great thing about box plots, they're incredibly easy to use and understand. The one thing to watch out for, though, is you need enough data to really make it work. If your data set is too small, the picture it paints could be a little misleading.
Okay, next up, how do you show the main reasons for customer complaints in just one simple graphic? Well, that's where the classic pie chart comes in. It is absolutely perfect for showing proportions, so you can instantly see which slice of the pie is causing the biggest headache.
Its real strength is its simplicity. It's so easy to present and for anyone to understand. But here's the key. It really works best with just a handful of categories. If you have too many slices, it just becomes a cluttered mess and loses all its impact.
But what if you need to see performance across a bunch of different things at once, like cost and quality and delivery time? That's where the radar chart, sometimes called a spider diagram, is perfect. It plots each variable on its own axis, creating this shape that gives you a super fast visual summary of the overall performance.
They look great, they're really compact, but the key to a good radar chart is keeping it simple. As you can see here, you really want to limit the number of variables. If you try to cram too much in there, you lose that crystal clear picture that makes this tool so useful.
All right, so we've visualized our data. Now what do we do with it? This next set of tools is all about moving from just looking at data to actually making strategic decisions. It's about figuring out where to put your energy to get the biggest bang for your buck.
You know, this is one of my favorites. The critical to quality tree, or CTQ tree, is how you translate a vague customer request, like I want a good phone, into specific, measurable requirements. You start with that big need, you break it down into what drives quality, and then you set the actual performance targets. It makes sure you're working on what truly matters to the customer.
And get this, the main benefit is that it's just plain easy to use. And for the points to note section, the standard literally says none. That tells you something, doesn't it? It just shows how straightforward and powerful this tool is for focusing your work.
Okay, time for a true classic, the Pareto chart. Think of this as your secret weapon for finding the vital few causes that are behind most of your problems. By sorting all the causes from biggest to smallest, it immediately shows you where you should focus for the biggest improvements.
And it's all based on this incredibly powerful idea, the 80-20 rule. Roughly 80% of your problems, your outcomes, come from just 20% of the causes. The Pareto chart is what helps you zero in on that critical 20%.
So the bottom line is, it forces you to put your effort where you'll get the best results. And just like the CTQ tree, the ISO standard gives this one a clean bill of health, no cautions listed. That just highlights how universally useful this thing is.
So we've seen our data, we've focused our efforts. What's left? This final set of tools is for when you're right there on the floor, in the thick of it. These are the tools for active, hands-on control, making sure your process is stable and that you can trust your measurements.
Let's talk about pre-control. This is a super simple, low-cost way to prevent defects from even happening on the production line. Here's how it works. Before you start a big run, you just check 5 parts in a row. If all 5 are good to go within your target zone, then you're clear to start production. Simple as that. And once you're up and running, it gets even easier. Every so often, you just pull a sample of 2 units. Based on where those 2 parts land, you get a simple signal. Keep going, make a quick adjustment, or stop the line. It's a really fast and efficient way to stay on track.
The biggest plus here is how easy it is. It takes almost no training for your operators. But, and this is important, you have to remember that this is a control tool, not an improvement tool. It won't give you deep insights for analysis, which makes it best for processes where you're okay with a small defect level.
And finally, how do you even know you can trust the numbers you're getting? That's where gauge repeatability and reproducibility, or GR&R, comes into play. It helps you untangle two different kinds of variation. Repeatability, that's the variation coming from the measurement equipment itself, and reproducibility, that's the variation coming from the different people using the equipment.
The real power of GNR is that it looks at your entire measurement system. You can even use it to see if your operator training is actually working. Ultimately, it answers that critical question: is the variation you're seeing coming from your tools or from your team?
And there you have it, a quick tour of some of the most practical tools you can have in your quality toolkit. You know, the key isn't to be an expert in all of them overnight, it's about knowing which tool to pull out of the box for the right job.
So let's do a lightning round recap. Use a box plot to compare different groups, a pie chart to see proportions, a radar chart for looking at many variables at once, a CTQ tree to nail down customer needs, a Pareto chart to find your biggest problems, pre-control for simple on-the-floor monitoring, and GR&R to make sure you can trust your data.
And that brings us to the last question, and this one is for you. Thinking about the challenges you're facing at work right now after seeing all these tools, which one are you going to pull out of your toolkit and put to use tomorrow?